Hey everyone. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to explain how attendance works um, for online classes, as well as going over what the standard deadlines are for homework each week. So go ahead and bring up this little section right here, which is where you're at right now. So as you know, attendance is a very important component when it comes to succeeding in any class, right? To do well, you have to come to class each week. You have to stay for the whole class. This is especially true for an online course, but how exactly does attendance get recorded in an online class? I mean, if you're taking a class on campus, you know that your attendance will be counted by simply showing up when the class is scheduled to meet, right? So you have a day and a time, you show up, you stay the whole time, and you get marked present, right? Um, by the end of the term, you will have attended 40 hours of class. And for this course, you will have completed roughly 80 hours of out of class work. So 40 hours in class, right? So that's 4 hours a week for 10 weeks. That's the amount of time you would be in the classroom each week, 4 hours each week for a total of 40. You should expect 80 hours of out of class work throughout the term. So 80 hours spread over 10 weeks, that is an additional 8 hours per week. So 4 hours in class, 8 hours of out of class work every week. All right. Same thing holds true for an online class. You know, you're expected to complete 4 hours of in-class work and 8 hours of out-of-class work each week for this particular course, right? The only difference is that you are responsible for when you will cover all of the material. But each week, you should be spending roughly 12 hours a week on this class. If you were on campus, the 4 hours that you would spend in the classroom each week is how you would be counted present each week, right? Well, how it works with an online class is every week begins at 12:01 a.m. Monday. So when Sunday night turns into Monday, the week begins. That week closes at 11:59 p.m. the following Sunday, right? So for attendance, you have from 12:01 a.m. Monday to 11:59 p.m. the following Sunday to trigger your attendance for the week and get counted present. What counts as triggering your attendance? Well, you have to submit a graded item every week. So going into the course and watching videos, looking at PowerPoints, reading handouts, looking at an assignment, none of that counts as triggering your attendance. You have to actually complete and submit a graded item in order to be counted present that week, right? So one way that we sort of try to help with this is with a weekly attendance quiz. It will be listed under each module, right? So when you, and I'll show you that in another video, but under week one module, the first item is going to be the week one attendance quiz. You take that quiz, you get counted present for the week. Week two, when you click on week two module, first item you're going to see underneath is week two attendance quiz. When you take that quiz during week two, you'll get counted present for week two, right? It doesn't have to be the attendance quiz that you submit. It could be any graded item. So like if you are catching up, like if you fell behind, you know, say here in week one, there's one of the assignments that you don't complete on time. Week two starts and you're still catching up and you submit an item from week one, but you're submitting it at the start of week two, that triggers your week two attendance, even though the assignment is from week one. You are submitting a graded item that week. So you are triggering your attendance for that week and you will be marked present for that week. The attendance quizzes are there just as a nice little tool, right? But you have to submit some sort of graded item each week to be counted present. Now, our attendance quizzes in this course do not get factored into your overall grade. But the questions are related to the course material. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the week 1 attendance quiz, the questions on it are going to be about the information presented in this video. Week 2, that attendance quiz, the questions on the week 2 attendance quiz will be about the information that we cover in week 1, which will be chapter 1. Week 3, the attendance quiz questions will be based on the material we cover during week 2. So in order to answer the questions on the attendance quiz, you kind of have to have gone through the material from the previous week. So not only does the attendance quiz give you an opportunity to trigger your attendance and not have to worry about that aspect, but it also makes sure that you are staying current with the course and not falling too far behind, because you're not really going to be able to answer the questions unless you've gone through the previous week's material. All right, so it's just a nice little review and a real easy way to help you ensure that you get marked present each week, right? So again, the deadline to trigger your attendance is 11:59 p.m. on Sunday of each week, right? Cool. The week begins 12:01 Monday. You have until 11:59 p.m. Sunday to submit some sort of graded item and get counted present. The only exception to this is in week 10 because it's a short week. So in week 10, instead of having all the way until Sunday night, you only have until Thursday night. So from week 10, starting 12:01 a.m. Monday, until Thursday at 11:59 p.m. That's all you get for week 10 because the course ends Thursday night of week 10, right? But if that's confusing, I will be sending out reminders as we get closer to the end of the term, don't worry. But for all the rest of the weeks, you have until, from Monday at 12:01 until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. to submit at least one graded item to be counted present. The easiest one to do is the weekly attendance quiz, right? But any graded item will suffice, right? Now, submitting that one graded item by Sunday night does ensure that you get counted present for that week. But remember, your attendance is not the same thing as your grade. So let's say you have a week where all you're able to do is submit the attendance quiz. You get counted present for that week, but you still have to make sure that you are going through the lessons and completing the homework assignments at some point, even if they're late, because your grade is dependent upon your assignments, not your attendance. So getting marked present every week just ensures that you don't get dropped from the class for missing too many weeks. But you still have to make sure that you're keeping up with any work for the week so that your grade can stay above the 70% mark. So if there happens to be a week where you cannot get any of the work done, still do the work, even if it's late. Even if you end up getting marked absent, something happens and you aren't even able to trigger your attendance for a week and you get marked absent, still do the work. Even if it's late, you go back and take that attendance quiz and then you go through the lessons and you complete the assignments, right? So you have a whole week to trigger your attendance by submitting one graded item from 12:01 a.m. Monday to 11:59 p.m. Sunday. One graded item, you get counted present. The weekly attendance quiz is the easiest way to do that, but any graded item will work. Regardless of whether you get marked present or absent, though, you still have to make sure that at some point you are going through the lessons and completing the assignments for that week, even if they're late, right? Okay. The other thing that I have here on this page is just a nice little chart that shows you the exact dates for the term. You can see when week 1 begins and ends, when week 2 begins and ends. So you can always come back to that chart if you're unsure of what week we're in, if you need to plan ahead, anything like that. It will have the exact dates listed for you. But again, this is just a very brief overview of how attendance works in online classes. Make sure you're submitting that graded item each week to be counted present. Make sure that you are preferably staying current in the course. But if something happens, make sure you're catching up in the course, right? And make sure that you understand that this is just like an on-ground class where you spend 4 hours of class, 4 hours in the classroom each week with an additional 8 hours of homework each week. That is a total of 12 hours. And just because this is an online class does not make it any different. You should still expect 12 hours of work on this class each week. You just get to decide when you'll do it. Okay? If you have any questions about attendance or deadlines, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, you are free to go ahead and move on.